debaters, judges, audience, and host colleagues. Um, Thank you very much for being here again. I could see that all the teams were rehearsing very hard and you put a lot of effort into this one again, this debate again. I can't wait to hear all your arguments and I hope that it will be a good experience for all of you again. So let's get started.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, our transnational teams with members from our 4 nationalities are anxious to start discussing and disputing for the second time. We mustn't forget to congratulate the Greek team for having won the competition, celebrated on Monday and Tuesday. In addition, we would like to point out the enthusiastic participation of all the rest of the speakers. Thank you for your extraordinary effort. Now is your time to introduce you to our first semi-final. The debaters of the A team, Edgar from Latvia, Ioannis from Greece, and Boniface from Hungary, are ready to defend the resolution, but vegetarian diets should be must. Similarly, the members of the N team, Luca from Hungary, Nick from Greece, and Clara from Spain, are going to disapprove of the resolution previously mentioned. Good luck to all the participants.
Ladies and gentlemen, we think that there are many animal farming related problems in this world. We think that there is too much pollution and we have not very healthy lives as a people. So today we are proposing that we will introduce vegetarian diet in our lives. So what do we mean by this? So with vegetarian diet we mean that we will eat only plants, no animal related products, basically vegan diet this will be. So we understand that some people are desperately needed with these things. So we as a proposing team think that some people could have the milk or something to like small children to get what they need. So we think that these little things won't affect our goals. So we think this debate is that all society collectively should understand what's good for our body and our environment. We have 2 goals today: to get rid of huge farms and maybe some farms that for these people who need these things are okay. And second goal is to reduce meat consumption, and have better lives. So I will have 2 arguments today, and our second speaker, that are benefits that non-meat eating provides, and that are health benefits and environment benefits. Second speaker will tell you about that, how vegan diet works and that we can completely live with this diet. So first argument, health benefits. So we are not eating meat anymore. No meat, no animal related products. So we have the diet with less fat, less cholesterol, and by eating only plants we will have more nutrition in our diet, which is good for our health. We don't want meat because meat is related to many and animal products are related to many diseases, like chance of getting heart diseases, chance of getting cancer, or like chance of getting second type of diabetes. Okay, I will have an example from a study. Dr. Rashmi Sheena from National Cancer Institution in Rockville, Maryland, USA, in 2009, 23rd March, released a study from and they were looking at 48,000 men and 23,000 women in time of 10 years. Their conclusion was that 1/5 of people from these, from all of the things they looked at, they were eating red meat, and they had a higher risk of getting heart-related diseases, from heart-related diseases or even cancer. So another health benefit for non-eating meat is a better consumption of calcium, because sometimes we don't have these things in our, because vegan diet have these things like tofu, dark leafy green plants, kale, spinach, and collard greens, and fortified cereals that are good for our health, and more calcium is good for our body. So another study, and it was first study of 1999, of 76,000 people, concluded that vegetarians had 24% lower mortality rate in their lives. And by not eating meat, we are reducing things like kidney stones in our bodies. So our second argument is environment benefits. So we think that big farms are bad for environment. They create deforestation and emissions in our air. We have this problem involved, that pollution and greenhouse effects. So too much resources are used for creating animal farms and breeding animals. So we think if there will be no farms, there will be less resources used, and there will be less environmental impacts. So no farms, less pollution, and it's good for environment. So I will give you some examples why farms are bad for our environment. So from Human Study of United States report in 2007, they concluded that 9% of carbon emissions are from animal farms. 37% of emissions of methane are from animal farms. 65% of emissions of nitrous oxide or N2O are from these farms too. So we think if there would be no big farms, there will be less pollution, less all these disastrous things that are bad for our world. So basically, we think that this is we want to achieve these two goals: healthier lives for us and our children, and more less polluted world that we want to live in. And we think if we will accept this vegan or vegetarian diets, that will result in better world in future. Thank you.
We would like to ask for 2 minutes for preparing our question. Thank you very much.
Of the time. Don't you think that our body going to miss the proteins and the oils, but only the meat contains?
No, actually, my second speaker will talk about these things, and there are like many studies on many dietologues and doctors that say that we can have healthy life and healthy diet while eating other like peas or nuts, and have all these nutritions in our body. We think that we can get all these things from plants. So, and as we said, if someone's like dying from not eating meat, then we are saying, okay, maybe at those points when it's going to extreme, we are letting people to have these diets. And from the beginning of the farming, there was like these big companies that produce animal food, and now they are like having antibiotics, other chemicals that to breed animals, and like these substances usually don't disappear, they are still in the meat, and we are eating this meat, and by eating this meat we get like these antibiotics in our body, these chemicals in our body that will result in bad effects. For example, if animal meat contains antibiotics, that maybe some of these things could our antibiotics, when we really need them, they won't work, because we are full of antibiotics, and it has destroyed our immune system, that because antibiotics are a pretty powerful drug. So we think firstly that we can completely get healthy diet without animal products, and secondly, meat has these bad substances in there. So we think that we will be better if we don't eat meat.
Thank you for your answer.
Good morning. As the first speaker of the negative team, first of all, I'd like to say that we agree with the definition avoided by the affirmative team about the concepts that we're going to talk about today. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about the disadvantages of vegetarian diets about our health. Then my partner is going to talk to you about disadvantages of vegetarian diets over economy. And lastly, my other partner from Hungary is going to conclude what we said. Okay, I will start by saying that the information that you said about nutritional benefits of vegetarian diets are mostly wrong, and there is a lack of sources provided. I will base on this. This is our direct consumption, recommended direct consumption of foods. This was established by the USA government, and this is based on scientific proofs and developed by nutritionists and many kind of scientists. Okay, as you can see, it's divided in 4 parts. 1/4 part of our daily ingestion should be fruit, another 1/4 part should be vegetables, another 1/4 part should be grains and all kinds of carbohydrates, and the last part are proteins. As you can see, all of these are foods where this is a nutrient. This is because protein can be obtained from many sources such as eggs, kind of beans like soy or chickpeas, and also meat. I will tell you why should we obtain protein from meat. We need protein in our diets basically because it is what builds us. We need protein to build our muscles and all the tissues that compound us. And we can survive on soy or eggs, which contain protein, because they could cause a biotin deficiency. This regulates our fat production. Also, for the proper working of our cells, we can just eat one kind of protein. We have to eat many kinds of protein. We need to eat the most similar proteins to the ones we have in our bodies. And proteins coming from meat are much similar to ours rather than vegetables. Obtaining proteins is a big deal for our cells, and we need to make it easier for them. Also, we need to eat the 20 kinds of amino acids that make proteins. These 20 kinds of amino acids can be only found in eggs. So if you don't eat eggs, you don't have all of them. And also, I will tell you the consequences of the lacking of protein in our diets. It will make us slower to health ones. It will make our skin look unhealthier. When developing muscles, we will become weaker because we won't be able to build them, and we will burn them. And also, our digestion and cognitive function will suffer. Some vegetarians, as you said, eat more carbs to compensate this lack of proteins, and doing that, they just gain weight and fat. But also, one important thing is that you talked about that it was good to because you ate less fat, and we are largely told that we should avoid fat in high quantities, but we should not eliminate them. Fat is important for our skin, health, and articulation, and it also helps us to utilize proteins and digest them. Vegetarian diets can cause a lacking of fatty acids, such as omega-3 fatty acids. And do you know what they do? They are indispensable for our brain function and for preventing damage caused by free radicals, the particles that cause cancer in us. So that thing of that being vegetarian stops cancer is completely wrong. And this is proof. I will mention studies later. Also, vegetarian diets can cause a lack of vitamin B12. B12 can cause lack of vitamin B12 can cause serious problems in our health, such as nerve damage, low energy, and osteoporosis. And if you don't prevent this issue and you don't eat supplements of this vitamin, it won't be. Even if you supplement your diet with these vitamins, it won't be as good as consuming them naturally. And this is proved by scientists from Italy and Japan who reported in the Journal of Agricultural Food Chemistry that vegetarians have a high risk of developing vitamin B12 deficiency compared to people who consume animal products. Human body is unable to use plant-based form of the vitamin B12. And also I am going to talk about the environmental reasons that you said. Like it's proved by the World Wildlife Fund that that the quantities of methane, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases are nothing compared to the gases produced by car and other transports and or the burning of fossil fuels. And also there are some data which are that I will just mention one more data, is that the 15.9% of the gases in the world are produced by farming. That's true. It's a very that are produced by agriculture, while the 40% are produced by farming, which is lower. Because of the use of pesticides, herbicides and fertilizers, which are much contaminating than the products used in farming. Thank you very much, and I'm ready to answer all your questions.
We would like to ask 1 minute for more questions.
There is a lot of vegan people who only eat vegetables and they live a totally normal life. And because they eat vegetables, they get protein to their body. So you can't just get protein from meat. You can even get it from your vegetables, and you will live a normal life. So why is it important to get it from meat? Otherwise, not including that it's similar to our body, because if you get it from vegetable, your body can use it as normally as you can get it from meat.
Just one question. You mentioned that we can live longer by eating vegetable proteins. Or maybe I was mistaken.
No, I just said that you can live a normal life by you eating only vegetables and get protein from it.
Well, as I mentioned, it's much better for our body to obtain protein from meat because it's easier for us to digest it. It makes our cells work more properly. Like, it's much easier to transform proteins coming from meat into the ones we need than vegetable proteins. Like, it's much better. And also because of all the properties of meat proteins, they are much better to help us to have a balanced diet. And I can prove it with many studies. As I said, I didn't have time to mention them before. exogenous. Well, I do have some. Well, I hope so. These proteins, most of them contain too the saturated fats and cholesterol. Like you also said that we will live better with less cholesterol, and it's proof that these proteins come from it can help to reduce the quantity of LDL or the bad cholesterol in our blood. Like they can cause a mild increase when you eat them, but later they will help us to reduce this bad cholesterol. And this was proved by the Children's Hospital and Research Institute of Oakland, which made a study on nearly 350,000 people. So I think that's my final answer. Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's time for like some like 3 to 4 minutes break. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Giannis Bouratis, and I feel lucky to participate in such an interesting and hot debate. Before I come to my arguments, I would like to directly take issue at what the first speaker of the affirmative team said. She talked about the disadvantages of a vegan diet, but I'm here to prove here that a vegan can live exactly as normal as a person who eats meat. First of all, she talked about our resources. She said that the researches and the sources we provided were wrong. This is quite a big statement to make. Secondly, she said that we need to have a balanced diet of many vegetables, hydrocarbonates, meat and such. I will later prove to you that you can live a completely normal and healthy life just by eating vegetables. She also said that we need meat and egg proteins, but our bodies can compose the proteins they need just from vegetables like corn. So, she later talked about the 20 amino acids that she said only come from meat. But again, I will talk about it later. Research has found that you can compose all the amino acids from vegetables. Again, she talked about all the problems that come with the lack of protein. But as we said just now, all the people who are vegans, you see them, they are healthy, they don't have these problems because there is no lack of protein. She also said that the cancer thing is actually a lie. We disagree. There are many and many researches that find that meat is directly linked to cancer. Also, she said that the emissions are minimal, but we disagree. There have been like many studies, and they have found that over 18% of the greenhouse gas emissions come from farming. It certainly isn't a huge percentage, but it's a step in the right direction to try and reduce it. Now I would like to come to my arguments. The first speaker already talked about the benefits of a vegan diet. Now I will try and prove to you why the vegetables are the only thing you need to live a healthy life. Now, according to the American Dietetic Association, a vegan diet can mean all protein requirements, provide the necessary amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, and they can also provide all the necessary vitamins, fats and minerals that will be enough for us and will improve our health. According to the USDA and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, animal products are not an essential part of a healthy diet. So in the end, we cannot say that we need any of these products. It's impossible to accept that we have to eat dairy and meat in order to have a healthy life. These seem like a food preference to us, since they are not essential to our health. So, therefore, we should simply accept the vegan diet and include vegetables in our diets. So we will also take all the health effects that they offer and do something good for the environment in the long run. Thank you very much.
First of all, I'd like to say that we didn't say that it was impossible to live being vegetarian. I just said that it was easier to have a balanced diet, eating protein coming from meat, and that would help to make our body work better. I got a question for you, yes. And it is that many theories, which are true, state that humans are omnivorous to develop our brain function. So that's why we are the most intelligent species considered on this earth. Can you explain why do you think that being vegetarian is better, knowing that we are made to eat both animal-based products and vegetable-based products?
Okay, sure. First of all, I would like to say that yes, you didn't directly say that it's impossible, but with all the disadvantages you said, it actually makes it look like it's impossible to live on a vegan diet. Now, after all, when it comes to vegans, well, as you see, through evolution, our teeth has changed. It is now flat, so it's made to eat fiber and chewy foods. It is not, like exclusively for meat, as you say. So, through evolution, humans are designed now to eat vegetables, not meat. And when you say that we have like advanced brains, how is that connected to meat? That has nothing to do with meat. That has to do with our whole biological nature. That has nothing to do with meat. Now, as we said, now we are evolving into species that are designed to eat softer foods such as fibers. This is why our teeth are now flat. Thank you.
I'm Nikos Kofopoulos, and it's my great pleasure to participate in such an passionate debate. As the second speaker of the negative team, I would like to elaborate the argumentation on environmental hazards and economic dangers of vegetarian diets. I will illustrate to all of you that there are drawbacks, that these diets are bad for our health and for our economy. So you are going to have second thoughts about them. I listened very carefully what the previous speaker of the affirmative team has claimed. He has a great opinion, but yet it was his opinion. So he had not provided any scientific basis. So it was great, but it was his opinion. Now I will continue with the changes of the ecosystem. If everyone is vegetarian, first of all, if we all eat only plants, the amount of them will be decreased. As a consequence, the herbivores will not have enough food for themselves, and then there will be a huge possibility to some of them to die because of the lack of it. Then the carnivores will be affected from the reduction of the population of herbivores. And if the carnivores do not have the proper amount of food, so this may be lead even to their extinction. So the food chain will be destroyed, and we're waiting serious environmental dangers that we don't know how to deal with them. This change, the food change, is very important and vital for us because this change is like if we remove a piece, the other pieces cannot be connected again. So if we remove one piece, the other does not just come up. Okay, so I think we have analyzed all the environmental hazards of the vegetarian diet. And now I'm going to speak about the financial risks and dangers that these diets provoke. I encourage you to think what happens if we all eat vegetables and nothing more, only plants. The livestock and many companies which produce meat will be closed. Also, the companies that produce dairy products will have the same ending as the others. Can you imagine how many employees will lose their jobs, their incomes. They will not have any income, so there is such a vicious cycle. These people will be unable to buy products, so to cover their needs. So in that case, the country will lose money too. This will be involved to a phenomenon that will affect the whole economy of the country. So now I will read it. Research about some companies. They create synthetic meat, so they promise to vegetarians that we have what we can even eat meat if we're vegetarians because it is synthetic. Meat substitutes are much unhealthier than traditional food. And with this number and data provided by statistics made by markets and market analytics, we can also say that these synthetic foods corrupt vegetarianism. The companies that monopolize meat substitutes market, such as Mantle, or only care about raising their money profits, no matter what the consequence their products can have on consumers. They will use strategies to make people become vegetarian. For example, they'll use their products to make vegetarian. They won't miss meat to their products, which will present it as healthy as nature needs. But it's not. It's synthetic, and we don't know the dangers of this. Okay, so I want to tell you.
Excuse me, just a few seconds to finish.
Okay. I will tell you the number of the profit that these companies get every year. 5.70 billion. So I want all to consider that, take into consideration, and think it why this company is doing this. So thank you.
Well, so my question is really simple. Why don't we manage resources? So basically, with this I mean, to breed animals, we need to feed them. To feed animals, we need to make plants. So basically, plants that we could give to humans are fed to animals, right? When we're making these farms for animals, we are destroying forests. When we destroy forests, we decrease we kill plants. So if we don't kill forests, we don't kill plants. So basically, I'm asking why don't we manage resources better? Just because to breed animal, it's much harder to breed animal than to breed plants.
Okay, I understand your point, but we have to think the bigger picture, because as I said before, the food chain and all the ecosystem will change if we do that. If we only plants, there will not be enough food for the animals. They only eat plants, and then the others they eat smaller animals. They don't have so many feed. So there is far more serious ecological challenges we have to face.
Yeah, but there will be more forests.
Yes. It's a proposition. We don't know if it will be. So, okay, you accept my answer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, as my team, alternative team, third speaker, I want to greet the judges, the audience, and the opposing team. First, we were talking about that vegetarians are good for your health. Your mom did not make a big mistake when she told you that you should eat more vegetarians, because they have all the proteins, the important minerals that your body needs. You can build your bones and muscles up by only eating vegetables. We mentioned that you have less mortality from eating when you're eating vegetables to get heart diseases or a second type of diabetes. And we were also talking about that you don't even need meat. You can live a normal life only by eating vegetables. And of course, we don't want to force anyone. We don't want to think you that we are just only eat vegetables. You can eat meat if you really need it. And if you are a little child or you are sick, yes, of course, you have the rights to eat meat. Because, yeah, it this protein, but you need that kind of protein which is similar to your body. And but of course, if you are growing bigger, your requirements for the vitamin, fat, minerals are in the vegetables too. So you mentioned that if we eat only vegetables, we are going to destroy the big companies and we kill the animals because we are eating what they eat. So this is the aim, probably, because if there are not big companies, they don't pollute as much. And I would like to mention that at this point that the cows makes a lot of methane, which is 21 times more effective to the greenhouse effect than the carbon dioxide. So, all in all, this is what we think, and we support the definition that should be must vegetarian diet. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear judges, dear everyone, and dear opposing team, to sum up what we've said, I have to clear our point. First, I would like to talk about the environmental issues about the vegetarian diet. For some people, the vegetarian life is symbolizes the environmental friendliness. That's not true. The fields conquer a lot of the forests and natural treasures, and also increase the amount of greenhouse gases, produce more methane gases than the cars and the factories together. We must not forget that the healthy vegetarian products cost a lot, and the third world countries have not the opportunity to pay for them. And to reflect the third speaker's speech, yes, our mom didn't make a mistake, but our father also didn't when he cooked boiled eggs and said, "You will be more clever if you eat it." So, as our first speaker mentioned, in my plate there are just a quarter of what contains meat, and all of the others vegetables. So I don't understand why a vegetarian diet should be a must if we all, not at the moment, eat a lot of vegetables and just a little meat. And our argument about health is because our body builds by protein, and without them we cannot exist. So in our consumption we need one kind of protein, what contains only the meat, and the eggs contains the 20 kind of the amino acids, which we can't eat from other places and the plant products. And I think all of us heard about the omega-3 fatty, which make us possible to solve complicated problems and to debate about them. And as we mentioned, imitation meat is not a solution to protein deficiency, and we will not live longer because of them. I have to demonstrate to eat meat does not mean that the people of their lifestyle eat meat for every deal and every day. I have to highlight that we are not against the vegetarian diet, and we also agree that the vegetables and the fruits are healthy and necessary for our immune system. But does not mean that we should ban the meat eating lifestyle, just to reduce the portion of the meat. I think that we don't have the right to force a diet to someone who don't want it and don't want to accept it and does not want to change his eating habits. So we think everybody has the choice to decide what to eat and how much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did a great job, and now the judges will evaluate each speaker point by point, and we will see you in
Okay. So, Ioannis, can we make you some questions about
Ask me anything. Absolutely.
So I would like to ask you about how did you prepare your position, your debate? How was the process?
This process or the actual debate?
No, for this debate.
Well, it was pretty tough. We needed more time. 2 hours is pretty strict. So we tried to understand what we're gonna say. We found sources, we found researchers, and prepared to make our speeches.
Yeah.
We try to understand everything so we can ask questions, talk, and do things. So this is pretty much what we did. We found the arguments. We wrote down some basic things, and then we went our own way. We prepared our own way. So I hope it was pretty well. Hope you enjoyed it. This is how it goes actually, but we needed more time, to be honest.
Okay.
It was pretty strict.
Thank you very much. So, what do you recommend for a future judge in a debate? How should he or she take into account how the people discuss?
That's a difficult question. Actually, what I try to take into account is not just the form but the content.
Yeah.
I think that's very important because you yes, you have to consider what they say, not only how they say, because sometimes perfect performance can be very convincing, but when you really listen carefully, you can notice that maybe an amazing performance has really no substance. So I suggest to take notes, even while enjoying the performance, and this is how after that you revise your notes and you can make your decision, the points.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have to spoke.
No, I like meat. And I do want it.